I'd like to welcome all listeners back again to the second section of the third installment of the analysis of Ulysses by County Galway playwright John Ruane. That is me. I hail from the village of Monavea, which is approximately 15 miles from Galway City. Doing this recording actually in the village, in the middle of the village here at my mother's house, and looking out the window here. Saturday night is always a lively night in Monavea here. Actually, the whole weekend, people come from the surrounding areas like Rye Hill, parts of Abenakmai. Even though Abenakmai is a very vibrant village too, with some great pubs there, Dunhu's and the Abbey Inn, and a few more pubs there too. Well, basically Monavea, they all come in here on a Saturday night anyways, to the a lot of live bands here in the four pubs. Music, Morden's, McGann's, the Woodside Lounge, and then Kelly's. So Monavea really comes alive on a Saturday night, and there's I was looking across the greens here now. Monavea, I see loads of cars starting to venture into Monavea. Yes, Monavea is a lively spot. But anyways, back to. I'll just have to apologise now too for this amateur kind of a recording, because the headset, as I said before, is just like a €20 headset, and hopefully I can get better equipment. If anybody out there would like to sponsor that, drop me an email. There should be a link to an email here. Or if there's any sponsors out there that would like to sponsor any of the 13 plays I wrote, maybe I can possibly get them staged, which is I would like to get done as soon as possible. I thank everybody for the many emails I've sent or received. From a lot of places. Hopefully I'll get around to replying to some of them soon. I appreciate all your encouraging comments, and I sincerely thank you for all that. Anyways, to the book. We left off at page 52, and I'm going to continue from there. 52, as I said, I should get 6 pages done at this sitting, hopefully. So we were at desolation was the last word here. I just want to read back a little bit of that paragraph. A dead sea in a dead land. This is just above this now. Grey and old now. It bore the oldest, the first race. A bin tag crossed from Cassidy's, clutching a nagging bottle by the neck. The oldest people wandered far away over all the earth. Captivity, multiplying, dying, being born everywhere. It lay there now. Now it could bear no more. Dead, an old woman. An old woman is the grey, sunken CUNT of the world. Desolation. That's where we finished. I think Leopold Bloom there is just thinking about like the Dead Sea in general, and more or less along them lines, and brimstone coming down the sky and so on. There's probably a little bit more to that now that I need more time to study as well. If I never do get throw some further light on that, I will. So moving on now. Grey horror seared his flesh. Grey horror seared his flesh. Folding the page into his pocket, he turned into Eccles Street, hurrying homeward. Cold eyes slit along his veins, chilling his blood. Age crusting him with a salt coat. Well, I am here now. Morning mouths. Bad images. Got up wrong side of the bed. Must begin again those Sandoz exercises on the hands down. Blotchy brown brick houses. Number 80 still unlit. Why is that? Valuation is only 28. Towers, Battersea, North. MacArthur. Parlour windows plastered with bills. Plasters on a sore eye. To smell the gentle smoke of tea, fume of the pan, sizzling butter, be near her ample bed-warmed flesh. Yes, yes. I'm reading back over that again. Now, grey horror seared his flesh because, the thoughts he was having previously about the Dead Sea and all that. Seared his flesh is kind of, it is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here now? It is kind of, tensed him up as such, Folding the page into his pocket, the page he was holding and that he got in the butcher shop and he was reading. So he folded the page into his pocket. He turned into Eccles Street, hurrying homeward. Cold aisles slid along his veins, chilling his blood, age crushing him with a salt coat. Now that's just great, fantastic writing, guys. There, cold aisles slid along his veins because what he's thinking, chilling his blood, age crushing him with a salt cloak. He's getting older. That's what that's what's going on there, kind of, I think. Well, I am here now. He's alive. So on. Morning mouth, bad images. He's just, thinking to himself. This is the morning time. I'm having these bad thoughts. It's kind of like got up wrong side of the bed. No, that's a saying. It's a very common saying in Ireland. I'm sure it's very common in other countries too. When you got up the wrong side of the bed, what it basically means is, you're in a bad mood, kind of. You got up the wrong side of the bed. Things along them lines. And then he thinks must begin again those Sandoz exercises, which are like exercises like push-ups and so on. I'm sure. On the hands down. Yes, here we are. Blotchy brown brick houses. Now he's looking at the houses as he's walking past them. Number 80 still unlit. That's the house. And then he's thinking, why is that? Valuation is only 28. Must be the valuation of that house. Towers, Battersea, North. He's thinking about, other buildings probably in the vicinity or further afield, maybe. MacArthur, MacArthur. Maybe that's there's a house owned by a person called MacArthur. Parlour windows plastered with bills. Parlour is like a sitting room kind of. One of the windows in this house is plastered with bills. Plastered with bills is like like stickers, advertising. Plastered with bills. Advertising, upcoming things, bills for, advertisements. Then Joyce says, plasters on a sore eye. Great writing, Joyce there. That's what I will remind you of. To smell the gentle smoke of tea, fume of the pan, sizzling butter, be near her ample bed-warm flesh. Yes, yes. Now he's thinking all this. To smell the gentle smoke of tea, which he's going to have breakfast, fume of the pan, sizzling butter. You can visualize that. Be near her ample bed-warm flesh, which is Molly Bloom. Yes, yes. Now he's having all these happy thoughts. Next line. Quick, warm sunlight came running from Berkeley Road swiftly in slim sandals along the brightening footpath. She runs to meet me, a girl with gold on the wind. Now, them are just 2.5 lines of writing, and they don't seem like a whole lot at all. But I remember when I read Ulysses first time, and actually the second time as well, I just thought them are 2 absolutely brilliant lines of writing. And here's the reason they are. It's just fantastic writing. I'm going to explain why. Right. Quick, warm sunlight came running from Berkeley Road, swiftly, in slim sandals, along the brightening footpath. She runs to meet me, a girl with gold on the wind. Now, quick, warm sunlight, I think he's referring to is, it's like a beautiful young girl coming. She's running towards him, and she's got gold hair, and she's just like a breath of fresh air. She's obviously I would say a beautiful girl. And he's describing her like quick warm sunlight came running from Berkeley Road. This is the girl. Swiftly, in slim sandals, along the brightening footpath, she runs to meet me, a girl with gold on the wind. This is a beautiful blonde-haired girl that's running towards him, and she's running towards him, but she obviously passes him out, like. But this is the way he describes the beauty of this woman. It's just great writing from Joyce here. Next line. 2 letters and a card lay on the hall floor. He stopped and gathered them. Miss Marion Bloom. His quick heart slowed at once. Bold hand, Mrs. Marion. Next line, which is dialogue. Polly. Next line. Entering the bedroom, he half closed his eyes and walked through warm yellow twilight towards her tousled head. Next line. Who are the letters for? Next line. He looked at them. Mullingar, Millie. A letter for me from Millie, he said carefully, and a card to you, and a letter for you. He laid her card and letter on the twill bedspread near the curve of her knees. I'll go back over that again. 2 letters and a card lay on the hall floor. So he's entered from the street. Now he's inside. He stopped and gathered them, the 2 letters. He looks at one of them. It says Miss Marion Bloom. His quick heart slowed at once. Now he's getting a bit apprehensive there, it seems, for some reason. Bold hand. So bold hand, what that means there is the writing. Miss Marion Bloom is wrote in like all in big letters, in bold letters. Bold hand. Miss Marion. It's all big letters in Miss Marion Bloom, I would say. Next line, which is dialogue, a little dash. As listeners, I'm sure know by now that Joyce used a little dash to tell the reader that it was dialogue. I mean, I think most people, whether you know or not, Joyce basically invented his own grammar, and this is, he didn't like inverted commas. He said they were an eyesore, as I said a few times before, and Joyce invented his own grammar and his own rules in writing. So, I mean, if anybody ever tells you, any budding writers out there, there's rules to writing, there is no rules to writing. If there's ever rules to writing is dead as an art, because possibly the greatest writer of all times, James Joyce, broke every rule in the book, pardon the expression. So there is really no rules to writing, and I'd be inclined to listen to Joyce. Polly. So this is Molly Bloom speaking, I would say, from the bedroom, and she's calling Leopold Bloom Polly, so that must be his nickname. Next line. Entering the bedroom, he half closed his eyes and walked through warm yellow twilight towards her tousled head. So he entered the bedroom. He half closed his eyes. Why did he half close his eyes? He half closed his eyes and walked through warm yellow twilight towards her tousled head. Possibly the light in there, I would say, which is, you see the way Joyce, has left nothing to chance. Everything is there, Next line. Who are the letters for? So this is Molly Bloom speaking to, Leopold Bloom. She's asking, who are the letters for? He looked at them. He looking at the letters. Mullingar, Millie. So he's more or less saying one of the letters is from Mullingar. Mullingar is a place in Ireland. It's in the Midlands. Mullingar. It's a town. Millie. So Millie, who is Millie? We don't know who Millie is yet. I know, but as I said at the start of this book, I don't want to. I want to discover this book as as I'm reading it. Like I'm reading it for the first time. Next line. A letter from me from Millie, he said carefully, and a card to you. and a letter for you. So the letter for Leopold Bloom from Millie, could possibly be his daughter, he said carefully, and a card to you, a card for Molly Bloom, and a letter for you, and there's also a letter for her. He laid her card and letter on the twill bedspread near the curve of her knees. Now visualize the curve of her knees there. That's just very precise writing from Joyce. Next line. Do you want the blind up? Do you want the blind up? The blind, as I said before, is it's just a thing inside the window, like a screen, but it's one of these, probably one of these things you pull and it goes up and down, like like it's made of white things, just like a blind. It's basically just a thing inside the window. So he's more or less saying to her, do you want the blind up? You want it in the light? Next line. Letting the blind up by gentle tugs. Yes, it's I don't know how to describe this. I think everybody knows what a blind is. It's you pull the string and it goes up, an inch at a time, and so on and so forth. So letting the blind up by gentle tugs, halfway, his backward eye saw her glance at the letter and tuck it under her pillow. So this is very relevant here now. Letting the blind up by gentle tugs halfway, his backward eye saw her, Molly Bloom, glance at the letter she got, and she tucked it under her pillow. I wonder why she done that. Next line. That do, he asked, turning. That do, is the blind up enough for you? Next line. She was reading the card propped on her pillow. So she got a card and a letter. So now she's reading the card, like a postcard. Next line. She got the things, she said. She got the things. Next line. He waited till she had laid the card aside and curled herself back slowly with a snug sigh. Hurry up with that tea, she said. I'm parched. The kettle is boiling, he said. Just 1 second now. Hurry up with that tea, she said. I'm parched. The kettle is boiling, he said. But he delayed to clear the chair, her striped petticoat, tossed soiled linen, and lifted all in an armful onto the foot of the bed. As he went down the kitchen stair, she called, Polly. Next line, what? Scald the teapot. So just that's pretty. A lot of these 6 pages now is not that difficult at all. Just a few things that I may be able to add to. I'll read back on that again. He waited till she had laid the card aside, postcard, and curled herself back slowly with a snug sigh. So she curled back in the bed. And then she said, hurry up with that tea, she said. I'm parched. She's hungry and she wants the tea and breakfast, so on. Next line, he said, the kettle is boiling, he said. But he delayed to clear the chair. So he delayed going down to get the breakfast to clear the chair, her striped petticoat, tossed soiled linen, and lifted all in an armful onto the foot of the bed. Now you can really visualize that there clearly. And next line, as he went down the kitchen stair, she called, Polly. He answered, what? Scald the teapot. Now scald the teapot means, what it means basically is, put hot water into the teapot first. Put about maybe a pint of hot water into the teapot first, and rinse it out, and then dump it into the sink or whatever before you make the tea. That's what it means. Next line. On the boil, sure enough, a plume of steam from the spout. He scalded and rinsed out the teapot and put in 4 full spoons of tea, tilting the kettle then to let water flow in. Having set it to draw, he took off the kettle and crushed the pan flat on the live coals and watched the lump of butter slide and melt. While he unwrapped the kidney, the cat meowed hungrily against him. Give her too much meat, she won't mouse. Say they won't eat pork kosher. Here he let the blood-smeared paper fall to her and dropped the kidney amid the sizzling butter sauce. Pepper. He sprinkled it through his fingers, ringwise, from the chipped egg cup. Then he slit open his letter, glancing down the page and over. Thanks, New Tam, Mr. Coughlin, Loch Owl, Picnic, Young Student, Blazes Byland, Seaside Girls. So reading over that again, on the bile, sure enough. So on the bile, sure enough, a plume of steam from the spout. You can really visualize that now. The kettle is bile and there's a plume of steam coming out from the spout. He scalded and rinsed out the teapot and put in 4 full spoons of tea, tilting the kettle then to let water flow in. You see how precise Joyce was with his writing, the way everything is. He paints the complete picture. Having set it to draw, which, when you make tea, you have to leave it for a few minutes, to let all the tea soak into the water. That's what that means. Having set it to draw, he took off the kettle. Having set it to draw, there's some countries now where coffee would be the most prevalent drink besides tea. So that would be for American listeners. They would drink coffee more than tea. So having set it to draw, they wouldn't know what that means. That's what it means. Having set it to draw, he took off the kettle and crushed the pan flesh on the live coals and watched the lump of butter slide and melt. You see the fantastic imagery there now in them few lines. Having set it to draw, he took off the kettle and crushed the pan flesh on the live coals and watched the lump of butter slide down the side and melt. While he unwrapped the kidney, the cat meowed hungrily against him, which would happen. Yes, the cat, when he would smell like this bit of meat, this kidney, he would, he would go a bit, get a bit excited, as they say. Now, right here, Leopold Bloom starts thinking, give her too much meat, she won't mouse. Meaning, if you give a cat too much meat, she won't mouse. She won't catch mice. And then he's still thinking, say they won't eat pork. Cats, that's what he's thinking. The cats don't eat pork. They're kosher. Must be Jewish or something. Joyce is implying here, I think. Say they won't eat pork, kosher. Here. So he says here. So when he said, now he's not thinking. He said here. So he's, he let the blood smear paper fall to her. So here he's given her the blood smear paper. He let the blood smear paper fall to her and dropped the kidney amid the sizzling butter sauce. So he's given the cat the blood smeared paper and he's dropped the kidney amid the sizzling butter sauce. As it's been said, and I've said it before here in these recordings, there's a lot of things that made Joyce pure genius of a writer, and you can smell the smells, you can taste the taste, and this whole paragraph here, you can nearly smell the smells and you can taste the taste. He let the blood smear paper fall to her and dropped the kidney amid the sizzling butter sauce. Pepper. So now he's putting a bit of pepper. He's putting some pepper in it. He sprinkled it through his fingers, ring-wise, from the chipped egg cup. So this pepper is in a chipped egg cup. See the way Joyce has said the chipped egg cup. He didn't say he sprinkled it through his finger. See the way he used ring-wise as well, the preciseness, from the chipped egg cup. He didn't say from the egg cup, he said from the chipped egg cup. You see the exactness of Joyce in his writing. Then he slit open his letter. Slit it open with a knife, obviously, glancing down the page and over. So he's glancing down the page of this letter and over. And this is what he reads. And now we came across this before, where he's not reading the letter from the start. He's just reading words here and there from the letter. And we did come across that. Yeah, we come across that before in the office with Stephen de Dallas, with Mr. DC, where he was reading his letter and he's reading bits and pieces of the letter. So here we have another example of it here. Thanks, New Tam, Mr. Coughlin, Loch Owl, Picnic, Young Student, Blazes Bylands, Seaside Girls. So that doesn't make sense, but there's two words, basically plucked from a lot of sentences here, and that's what's going on there, You see the puzzle Joyce is setting for us all the time. You're he's getting us to figure out all this, you see. But it's only when you actually figure out Joyce's writing and you get it that you really say yes, great writing. Next line. The tea was drawn, so the tea is made. It's ready. He filled his own moustache cup, sham crown, derby, smiling, silly Millie's birthday gift. Only 5 she was then. No, wait, 4. I gave her the amber-knied necklace she broke, putting pieces of folded brown paper in the letterbox for her. He smiled, pouring. Oh, Millie Bloom, you are my darling, you are my looking glass from night to morning. I'd rather have you without a farthing than Katie Keogh with her ass and garden. Reading that again. The tea was drawn, so the tea is ready now. He filled his own moustache cup. So he has a cup with, on the outside of the cup, there's a big moustache. He filled his own moustache cup, sham crown derby. That is also, stuck on the outside of this cup. Silly Millie's birthday gift. So this silly Millie obviously is his daughter. So he calls her Silly Millie's birthday gift. So his daughter, when she was younger, gave him this as a birthday gift. Silly Millie's birthday gift. Gave him this moustache muck. Only 5 she was then. Yes, she was only 5 she was then. Then he thinks, no, wait, she was 4. And then he thinks, I gave her the amber-eyed necklace she broke. So he's thinking back when she was around that age. He gave her this necklace, amber-eyed necklace she broke, putting pieces of folded brown paper in the letterbox for her. He smiled, pouring. So now he's thinking back to another time when Millie was a young girl, and she got him to put, she was very young, probably around 4 or 5 as well. She got him to put pieces of folded brown paper into the letterbox for her, so he done it to play along. He smiled, pouring. He's smiling at these thoughts that he's pouring. And he says this, Millie Bloom, yeah, that's his daughter, here we are. It's we're on the right wavelength. Yeah, here we are. Oh, Millie Bloom, you are my darling, you are my looking glass from night to morning. I'd rather have you without a farthing than Katie Keogh with her ass and garden. S in that sense means it doesn't mean what you're thinking. It means donkey. That's what donkey. Next slide. Poor old Professor Goodwin, dreadful old case. Still he was a courteous old chap, old-fashioned way he used to bow Molly off the platform, and the little mirror in his silk hat. That night Millie brought it into the parlour. Oh, look what I found in Professor Goodwin's hat. All we laughed, sex breaking out even then. Pert little thing she was. Just reading over that here. So now he's thinking back to a person called poor old Professor Goodwin. He's thinking back now to something else that happened with Millie, some funny thing she done, which is the thing with the mirror and the hat here. Poor old Professor Goodwin, dreadful old case. Now, he was a friend of the family, this Professor Goodwin, I would say. Still, he was a courteous old chap, old-fashioned way he used to bow Millie off the platform. Old-fashioned way he used to bow Molly off the platform. So Molly, his wife, Molly Bloom, his wife, bow Molly off the platform. So it looks like Molly Bloom here is some kind of performer, and I think she's a singer. She's a singer that probably sings in operas, or what you call them things. These shows to put on, and she's a singer, with maybe an operatic voice or something. Old-fashioned way he used to bow Molly off the platform. So Professor Goodwin, he could have been like the introduction guy on the for this night out thing. He could be the MC, as they say. Old-fashioned way he used to bow Millie off the platform, and the little mirror in his silk hat. So this Professor Goodwin had a silk hat, and he had a little mirror stuck inside it, and the little mirror in his silk hat. And then Leopold Bloom was thinking, the night Millie, his daughter, brought it into the parlour, the hat. "Oh, look what I found in Professor Goodwin's hat." The small mirror. Now she was 4 or 5. She pulled out the small. "Oh, look what I found in Professor Goodwin's hat." All we left. So they all left. 6 breaking out even then. 6 breaking out even then. 6 breaking out even then. That could refer to a few things now. She could have been a little older, and she could have been, becoming a girl as such. Or Joyce could be referring to 6 breaking out even then, that she was that she was becoming cheeky. More or less saying that, women are cheeky. I don't know. It's possible Joyce would throw that in there, no doubt about it. Pert little thing she was. He's just thinking that. Now, next line. He prodded a fork into the kidney and slept it over. Then fitted the teapot on the tray. Its hump bumped as he took it up. Everything on it, bread and butter, 4, sugar, spoon, her cream. Yes, he carried it upstairs, his thumb hooked in the teapot handle. Now, I'll just go over that before I turn the page, because I'm in the page of 53 here. So he prodded a fork into the kidney and slept it over. So this kidney is frying in the pan, and he prodded a fork into the kidney. He stuck the fork into the kidney and slept it over, or maybe underneath it. Then fitted the teapot on the tray. Its hump bumped. Joyce said its hump bumped for some reason as he took it up. Joyce is throwing in hump and bumped there. Any opportunity he gets like that, he throws in things like that. Everything on it, on the tray. Yes, bread, butter, 4 slices of bread, sugar, spoon, her cream. Yes, he carried it upstairs, his thumb hooked in the teapot handle. You see the preciseness of Joyce's writing there. His thumb hooked in the teapot handle. Next line. Nudging the door open with his knee, he carried the tray in and set it on the chair by the bed head. "What a time you were," she said. She set the breasts jingling as she raised herself briskly, an elbow on the pillow. He looked calmly down on her bulk and between her large soft bubs, sloping within her nightdress like a she-goat's udder. The warmth of her couched body rose on the air, mingling with the fragrance of the tea she poured. A strip of torn envelope peered from under the dimpled pillow. In the act of going, he stayed to straighten the bedspread. Reading over that again. Nudging the door open with his knee. Yes, he's carrying the tray, so his hands are occupied. Nudging the door open with his knee, he carried the tray in and set it on the chair beside the bedhead. Next line. This is dialogue from Molly Bloom. "What a time you were," she said. "What kept you, more or less?" She set the breasts jingling. Do you know the things on the end of the bed? They started jingling as she raised herself up. You see? An elbow on the pillow. He looked calmly down on her bulk. And between her large soft bubs, you can visualize where he's looking there. And between her large soft bubs, sloping within her nightdress like a she-goat's udder, the warmth of her couch body rose on the air, mingling with the fragrance of the tea she poured. That's great writing, enjoy it. The warmth of her couch body rose on the air, mingling with the fragrance of the tea she poured. So she's pouring the tea. You can visualize that clearly there. It's great imagery from Joyce again. A strip of torn envelope peeped from under the dimpled pillow. In the act of going, he stayed to straighten the bedspread. So a strip of torn envelope peeped from under the dimpled pillow. So she obviously opened the letter, and there's a strip of the envelope peeping out from under the pillow. So she's hiding this letter, obviously, for some reason. In the act of going, he stayed to straighten the bedspread. Next slide. "Who was the letter from?" he asked. "Bold hand Marion." "Oh, Bylan," she said. "He's bringing the programme." "What are you singing?" "Lassie Durham with J.C. Dial," she said, "and love's old sweet song." Her full lips drinking smiled. "Rather stale smell that incense leaves next day like foul flower water. Would you like the window open a little?" She doubled a slice of bread into her mouth, asking, "What time is the funeral?" 11, I think, he answered. I didn't see the paper. So going over that again. So who was the letter from? He asked. So Leopold Bloom asked her, who was the letter from? Now, Bold Hand Marion. Now he's thinking this. Bold Hand. He's thinking about, the writing on the outside of the name. It was written bold hand, like big writing. Bold Hand Marion was written in bold. So he's trying to figure out who's it from. Next line. Oh, Bylan, she said. He's bringing the program. So the letter is from a person called Bylan. He's bringing the program. Next line. What are you singing? So Leopold Bloom asks Molly Bloom, what are you singing? Yes, she's a singer. La Si Darem with J.C. Dial, she said, and love's old sweet song. Her full lips drinking, smiled. Very visual there. Rather stale smell that instant leaves next day. Now this is Leopold Bloom has started thinking again. And he's thinking, rather stale smell that instant leaves next day like foul flower water. So there must have incense there lit in the room or whatever the night before, and rather stale smell the instant leaves next day like foul flower water. Next line. Would you like the window open a little? He asked her. She doubled a slice of bread into her mouth, asking. So visualize her with a slice of bread in her hand, and she doubles it in half. She doubled a slice of bread into her mouth, asking. She asks, what time is the funeral? So she's asking him what time is the funeral. Next line. 11, I think, he answered. I didn't see the paper. So there's a funeral on today, and that person called Dignam, is it? So she asks, what time is the funeral? And he says, 11, I think, he answered. I didn't see the paper yet. Following the pointing of her finger, he took up a leg of her siled drawers from the bed. No. Then a twisted grey garter looped round a stocking, rumpled, shiny sole. Shiny sole. No, that book. Other stocking, her petticoat. It must have fell down, she said. He felt here and there, vaglio e non vale. Wonder if she pronounces that right. Vaglio. Not in the bed, must have slid down. He stopped and lifted the valise. The book fallen, sprawled against the bulge of the orange-keyed chamber pot. So reading over that again. What time is the funeral? 11, I think, he answered. I didn't see the paper. Following the pointing of her finger. So she's pointing at something. She's pointing at something for him to get something for her. Following the pointing of her finger, he took up a leg of her siled drawers from the bed. No. She shakes her head, says, no, that's not what I want. Then a twisted grey garter looped around a stocking, rumpled, shiny sole. No, that book. So, she's looking for a book. She said, no, that book. She's looking for a book, and she's pointing. She's pointing. She's getting him to look for it, basically. Other stocking, her petticoat. So he's looking under her stocking, petticoat, still can't find it. And she says, it must have fell down, she said. He felt here and there, vaglio non vale, whatever. Wonder if she pronounces that right, vaglio. Not in the bed, the book's not in the bed, it must have slid down. He stopped and lifted the valise. The book, fallen, sprawled against the bulge of the orange-keyed chamber pot. The chamber pot under the bed, probably. Orange keyed for some reason. Next line. Show here, she said. I put a mark on it. There's a word I wanted to ask you. She swallowed a draught of tea from her cup held by knot handle, and having wiped her fingertips smartly on the blanket, began to search the text with the hairpin till she reached the word. So he's found this book. She said, show here, give it here. Show here, she said. I put a mark on it. So there's a word I wanted to ask you. So next line. She swallowed a draught of tea from a cup held by a knot handle. Now, what does Joyce mean when he says held by knot handle? What he means, I think, is she swallowed a draught of tea from the cup held by knot handle. Held not by the handle. So she obviously has her hand wrapped around the cup. She's not holding it by the handle. She's holding it with her hand all around the cup. She swallowed a draught of tea from her cup held by knot handle, and having wiped her fingertips smartly on the blanket, so her hands are kind of a bit moist from the tea and the steam, the tea hole in the cup, held by knot handle, and having wiped her fingertips smartly on the blanket, so she wiped her fingertips on the blanket. See the preciseness of Joyce's writing again there. Began to search the text with the hairpin till she reached the word. So she's took out a hairpin, and she's looking through this word, with the hairpin in her hand, just see the preciseness of Joyce's writing again. Began to search the text with the hairpin till she reached the word. You see all the things that Joyce puts in here. So he's constantly painting the complete picture. Next line. Met him what? He asked. Here, she said. What does that mean? He leaned downward and read near her polished thumbnail. Metapsychosis, is it? Yes, who's he when he's at home? Metempsychosis, he said, frowning. It's Greek from the Greek. That means the transmigration of souls. So reading that again. Began to search the text with the hairpin till she reached the word. Met him what? He asked. So now she has the hairpin at a word, and he reads probably the line underneath it or the line above it, and he reads, met him what? He asked. So he's not reading the word she's pointing at. He's reading the word above it. Met him what? He asked. Here, she said. No, it's not them words. This word. Here, she said. What does that mean? But you see there. Excuse me. You see Joyce there again. Met him what? And then you're thinking, well, what's that all about? And she said, no, here, not them words. It's here. Here, she said. What does that mean? He leaned downward and read near her polished thumbnail. See the preciseness of the writing again. Metempsychosis. Well, who's he when he's at home? She asked him, who's he? Who's he when he's at home? It's like an Irish expression here they would use a lot. Who's he when he's at home? What does that mean? That's what it means in that sense. Metempsychosis, he said, frowning. It's Greek from the Greek. That means the transmigration of souls. And next line. Oh, rocks, she said. Tell us in plain words. So she says, oh, rocks, she said. Tell us in plain words. What in the hell does that mean? Tell us in plain language. Next line. He smiled, glancing askance at her mocking eye. The same young eyes, the first night after the charades, Dolphin's Bairn. He turned over the smut pages. Ruby, the pride of the ring. Hello, illustration. Fierce Italian with carriage whip. Must be Ruby's pride of the on the floor naked. Sheet kindly lent. The monster Maffei desisted and flung his victim from him with an oath. Cruelty behind it all. Doped animals. Trapeze at Hinglers had to look the other way, mob gaping. Break your neck and we'll break our sides. Families of them. Bone them young, so they metapsychosis, that we live after death, our souls, that a man's soul after he dies, dignum soul. So reading over that again, that's great writing from Joyce there again. Oh, rock, she said, tell us in plain words. He smiled, glancing askance at her mocking eye. The same young eyes. Now he starts thinking. He's thinking about Molly Bloom. The same young eyes. She's the same young eyes the first night after the charades. The first night he met her after the charades, which is, like a fair or something. He met her in Dolphin's Bar. He turned over. The Joyce is entered here again. He turned over the smudged pages. So he turned over the smudged pages. Why are the pages smudged? From over-reading, possibly. Or, if I was to guess now, knowing the preciseness of Joyce's writing, I would say here, he turned over the smudged pages. I would say, visualize her reading and, putting her fingers to her lipstick. Putting her fingers to her lips and, the lipstick and on her fingers. He turned and then she'd be turning the pages, and the pages would end up being smudged. I think that's what Joyce means here. He turned over the smudged pages, and that would make more sense why they're smudged. They're probably smudged from lipstick. So as she'd be reading this book, she might have her fingers in her, on her lips, and that's what I think Joyce exactly means there. And here's a hint why, another hint why I think this: Ruby, the Pride of the Ring. Now this is the book. Probably this is possibly the name of the book or something. But it's Ruby. It's kind of red as well. It's along the same lines. Ruby, the Pride of the Ring. So Leopold Bloom now is reading this in his mind. Ruby, the Pride of the Ring. Hello, illustration. So now he's looking at an illustration in the book, and he's looking at a fierce Italian with carriage whip. Must be Ruby, pride of the on the floor naked. I'm not really sure about that line there. Must be Ruby, pride of the on the floor naked. Something got to do with what he's looking at in the book. Sheet kindly lent. Sheet kindly lent. Not 100% sure about that. The monster Maffei desisted and flung his victim from him with an oath. Now this is a line I think exactly from the book that he's reading. The monster Maffei desisted and flung his victim from him with an oath. So this is a line that he's reading directly from the book, I would say. Cruelty behind it. Now he's thinking about flung the monster. So the monster in the circus, and flung his victim from him with a note. And then Leopold Bloom is thinking here, cruelty behind it, dope. And now he's thinking about in general, like a circus or so on. Doped animals. Yes, the animals will be doped half the time. And then he's thinking trapeze at Hingley's, which is a circus he was at. Now he's thinking trapeze at Hingler's. Now this is a circus that he was at in the past, and he's thinking had to look the other way. Mob gaping, because probably somebody fell from a height, and he says I had to look the other way. Mob gaping, but the mob was gaping. Break your neck. So the person that fell, the trapeze artist probably could have broke his neck. Mob gaping, break your neck and we'll break our sides laughing. That's what's going on there. Trapeze at Hingler's, had to look the other way. Mob gaping, break your neck and we'll break our sides. Families of them. Now we've seen about in circuses in general. Yes, it's all families of them. Born them young, so they metempsychosis. It's thrown that word as well. That we live after death, our souls. That a man's soul after he dies, dignum soul. Now he's thinking about the person. The funeral he's going to today, dignum soul. Next line. Did you finish it? He asked. So he asked her, did you finish the book? Next line. Yes, she said. There's nothing smutty in it. Is she in love with the first fellow all the time? Never read it. Do you want another? Yes, get another at Paul de Kock's. Nice name he has. She poured more tea into her cup, watching it flow sideways. Must get that Cable Street Library book renewed, or they'll write to Kearney, my guarantor. Reincarnation, that's the word. Some people believe, he said, that we go on living in another body after death that we lived before. They call it reincarnation, that we all lived before on the earth thousands of years ago or some other planet. They say we have forgotten it. Some say they remember their past lives. The sluggish cream wound curling spirals through her tea. Better remind her of the word metempsychosis. An example would be better. An example. So reading over that again. Okay. Did you finish? He asked. So Leopold Bloom asked Molly Bloom, did you finish the book? Yes, she said. Yes. There's nothing smutty in it. Smutty, I think everybody knows smutty means nothing like X-rated, basically. Yes, she said, there's nothing smutty in it. But she asked him, is she in love with the first fellow all the time? So even after reading the book, she wasn't really sure. So she asked him, is she still in love with the first fellow all the time? But he replies, never read it. Do you want another? Do you want another book? She said, yes, get another at Paul de Kock's. Joyce again. You see, the first opportunity he has got to put in something smutty. That's the right word to use. Yes, get another of Paul de Kock's. Nice name he has. So she says, yes, get another book of Paul de Kock's, which is a bookshop probably. Nice, and she says, nice name he has. She poured more tea into her cup, watching it flow sideways. Must get that Cable Street Library book renewed or they'll write to Kearney, my guarantor. Now, Leopold Bloom has started thinking in his mind here. Now he thinks, must get that Cable Street Library book renewed. If he doesn't get renewed, they'll write to his Kearney, his guarantor, who guaranteed, like a guarantor for a car. So in them times, to get a library, thing, you had to have a guarantor. Or the right to Kearney, my guarantor, reincarnation, and then he thinks reincarnation. That's the word. That's what he was trying to think about. Next line. Some people believe, he said, that we go on living in another body after death. That we lived before. They call it reincarnation. That we all lived before on the earth thousands of years ago, or some other planet. They say we have forgotten it. Some say they remember their past lives. That's pretty, self-explanatory. That now, next line. The sluggish cream wound curling spirals through her tea. Better remind her of the word metapsychosis. An example would be better. An example. So I just want to read them 2 or 3 lines again, because that's great writing, Joyce there again. The sluggish cream wound curling spirals through her tea. Now, the sluggish cream, so she's put cream into her tea, but why is it in spirals? The sluggish cream wound curling spirals through her tea. Why is it in spirals? There's only one thing that could make it in spirals, and that is if she's stirring it with a spoon. But Joyce doesn't tell us this here. The sluggish cream wound curling spirals through her tea. So she's obviously stirring with a spoon. So here Joyce is all the time. Joyce is all the time trying to tap into your visual intelligence, and he's getting your visual intelligence to think all the time, and to be figuring out what's going on. The sluggish cream wound curling spirals through her tea. So you have to stop and think, well, why has it got spirals? The only reason it would have spirals is because if she was stirring it with a spoon. Then he thinks, better remind her of the word metapsychosis. An example would be better. An example. Next line. The bats of the nymphs over the bed, given away with the Easter number of photo bits. Splendid masterpiece in art colours. Tea before you put milk in it. Not like her with her hair down, slimmer. 3 and 6 I gave for the frame. She said it would look better. She said it would look nice over the bed. Naked nymphs. Greece, and for instance, all the people that lived then. He turned the page back. Metapsychosis, he said, is what the ancient Greeks called it. They used to believe you could be changed into an animal or a tree, for instance. What they call nymphs, for example. There's another example of Joyce's brilliant humour. Now, I'd be laughing a lot more only for I'm trying to explain this. If I was just reading this on my own, I would be laughing out loud. Let me go back now. That okay. The bat of the nymphs over the bed. So over this bed there's a picture, and that could be the name of the picture. The bat of the nymphs over the bed, given away with the Easter number of photo bits. So given away with the Easter. Given away with the Easter number of photo bits. So around Easter time they got this for splendid masterpiece in art colours. So it's a splendid picture in art colours. Tea before you put milk in it. Now, tea before you put milk in it. I don't know what Joyce fully means by that there now, but I'm going to give that more thought, and hopefully I can get back to that. But there is definitely a meaning there. Tea before you put milk in it. I know she's drinking the tea and all that, and we have the milk and so on. Splendid masterpiece, in art colours. Tea before you put milk in it. There's another meaning to that now, believe me. Not unlike her with her hair down. So this is the picture of these beautiful naked ladies in this picture. And he's thinking, not unlike her with her hair down. Slimmer. There's the ladies in the picture are slimmer. 3 and 6 I gave for the frame. So that's the money he gave for the frame for this picture. She said it would be nice over the bed. So Molly Bloom said this picture would look nice over the bed. naked nymphs. Naked, beautiful ladies. Greece. And for instance, all the people that lived in. He turned the pages back. So he turned the pages back. Metempsychosis, he said, is what the ancient Greeks called it. They used to believe you could be changed into an animal or a tree, for instance. What they called nymphs, for example. Yes, here we are. Her spoon ceased to stir up the sugar. She gazed straight before her, inhaling through her arched nostrils. So this is verification that that was right about the sparrows. Her spoon ceased to stir up the sugar. So now she stopped stirring the sugar. Her spoon ceased to stir up the sugar. She gazed straight before her, inhaling through her arched nostrils. Great imagery there from Joyce all around. But you see what I'm talking about Joyce here. Her spoon ceased to stir up the sugar. This is why Joyce was just a genius writer, Her spoon ceased to stir up the sugar. She gazed straight before her, inhaling through her arched nostrils. You can nearly visualize the nostrils, kind of opening and closing there. And there's a reason for this. Her spoon ceased to stir up the sugar. She gazed straight before her, inhaling through her arched nostrils. She's inhaling something. Why is she inhaling? Why has she stopped? So she stopped stirring the sugar for, another reason besides it's fully stirred. Her spoon ceased to stir up the sugar. She gazed straight before her, inhaling through her arched nostrils. And this is the reason why. There's a smell of burn, she said. Did you leave anything on the fire? So, the kidney, he cried suddenly. So, she has smelled something burning, the kidney from downstairs. And that's the reason she stopped stirring the tea. And that's the reason she inhaled through her arched nostrils. There's a smell of burn, she said. Did you leave anything on the fire? You see? The kidney, he cried suddenly. So, she has smelt this. You see, great writing from Joyce, of course, there. Did you leave anything on the fire? The kidney, he cried suddenly. He fitted the book roughly into his inner pocket and, stubbing his toes against the broken commode, hurried out towards the smell, stepping hastily down the stairs with a flurried Stark's legs. Pungent smoke shot up in an angry jet from a side of the pen. By prodding a prong of the fork under the kidney, he detached it and turned it turtle on its back. Only a little burned. He tossed it off the pan onto a plate and let the scanty brown gravy trickle over it. This brilliant writing from Joyce there. So there's a smell of burn. Okay, the kidney, he cried suddenly. He fitted the book roughly into his inner pocket and, stubbing his toes, so he stubbed his toes on a broken commode, which would be this where this that whatchamacall typical Irish saying, the thing under the bed, the chamber pot thing, right? Broken commode, that would hold that, I think. He fitted the book roughly into his inner pocket and, stubbing his toes against the broken commode, hurried out towards the smell, stepping hastily down the stairs. So he's visualizing, stepping hastily down the stairs with a flurried Stark's legs. Now that's great writing from Joyce again. With a flurried Stark's legs, just like a Stark. He's running down the stairs. He's running down the stairs basically, and the legs, flurried Stark's legs. Pungent smoke shot up in an angry jet from a side of the pen. Pungent smoke shot up in an angry jet from a side of the pen. By prodding a prong of the fork under the kidney, he detached it and turned it turtle on its back. So, by prodding a prong of the fork, he prodded the prong of the fork under the kidney. He detached it because it stuck to the pen, and turned it turtle on its back. Visualize a turtle. Visualize the turtle on the beach, and you turn him on its back. Visualize this kidney. The shell is the burden part, and turned it turtle on its back, just like a turtle. Now this kidney looks like a turtle on its back. The shell is the burden part, and turned it turtle on its back. Need you say any more about Joyce there with that great writing? Only a little burned. Only a little burned. Just one side was burned, basically. He tossed it off the pen onto a plate and let the scanty brown gravy trickle over it. So the gravy from the pen is letting it trickle over the kidney. Like, it's great imagery from Joyce there again. Next line. Cup of tea now. He sat down, cut and buttered a slice of the loaf. He shore away the burned flesh and flung it to the cat. Then he put a forkful into his mouth, chewing with discernment the toothsome, pliant meat, done to a turn, a mouthful of tea. Then he cut away dice of bread, sopped one in the gravy and put it in his mouth. What was that about some young student and a picnic? He creased out the letter at his side, reading it slowly as he chewed, sopping another die of bread in the gravy and raising it to his mouth. So, reading over that again. Now, cup of tea now. So, he sat down. He's going to have a cup of tea himself. He sat down, cut and buttered a slice of the loaf. So, he cut a slice of loaf and buttered it. He shore away the burnt flesh. So, he cut away the burnt part of the kidney and flung it to the cat. Yes, you would fling it to the cat. Anybody would. Then he put a forkful into his mouth, a forkful of the kidney in his mouth, chewing with discernment. Chewing with discernment. This is very important, because he doesn't want to swallow any maybe still lingering burn bits. Chewing with discernment the toothsome, pliant meat. Great way to describe that. Done to a turn. It's done. A mouthful of tea is a drink of tea. Then he cut away dies of bread. So the slice of bread he cut away dies of bread. He cut them into small little strips. Like, visualize strips of bread you would push into an egg, soft egg. So he cut away dies of bread, pieces, little slices of the slices, if you know what I mean. Then he cut away dies of bread, sopped one in the gravy, sopped it into the gravy, and put it in his mouth. What was a great imagery from Joyce? And then he thinks, what was that about some young student and a picnic? This is what he read in the letter when he kind of briefly glanced through it. What was that about some young student and a picnic? He creased out the letter at his side. So he has the letter at his side, but he creased it out now. It's like he creased it out. He straightened it out, basically. He creased out the letter at his side, reading it slowly as he chewed, sopping another die of bread in the gravy. So he sopped another die of bread in the gravy and raising it to his mouth. Next line. Dearest Pepley, thanks ever so much for the lovely birthday present. It suits me splendid. Everyone says I'm quite the belle in my new tam. I got Mummy's lovely box of creams and I'm writing. They are lovely. I am getting on swimming in the photo business now. McCaughlan took one of me and Mrs. and was sent when developed. We did great biz yesterday, fair day, and all the beef to the heels were in. We're going to Loch Owl on Monday with a few friends to make a scrap picnic. Give my love to Mummy and to yourself a big kiss and thanks. I hear them at the piano downstairs. There is to be a concert in the Greenville Arms on Saturday. There is a young student comes here some evenings named Bannon. His cousins or something are big swills. He sings Bylands. I was, and this is in brackets, I was on the pop of writing Blaze's Bylands song about those seaside girls. Tell him silly Millie sends my best respects. Must now close with fondest love. Your fond daughter Millie. P.S. Excuse bag writing. I'm in a hurry. Bye bye. Now just going back over that again. This is great writing from Joyce here, because this is his daughter, a young girl. Now the writing is. This is the letter. This is exactly what she would write. A girl of this age, and I know the age she is, and it's coming up in the next page actually. So she's not a great writer or so on. Thanks ever so much for the lovely birthday present. It suits me splendid. You see the preciseness of Joyce writing here again. Everyone says I'm quite the belle in my new tam. I don't know what a tam is really. Could be a hat, something like that. It doesn't really matter. So she got a present from her parents of this. I got I got Mummy's lovely box of creams, which are like cookies or biscuits, and I'm writing. And I'm writing, you see. They are lovely. I am getting on swimming in the photo business now. I'm getting on great in the photo business now. So she works in like a photo booth place, I would say. Mr. Coughlin took one of me and Mrs. will send when developed. You see, it's not like English or proper English. She's a bad writer. We did great biz yesterday. Fair day and all the beef to the heels were in. We did great business in the photo booth place or shop. We did great business yesterday. It was fair day and all the beef to the heels were in. Beef to the heels, what she's referring to there is farming folk people, and all the beef to the heels were in. We are going to Loch Owl on Monday, which is a lake probably, with a few friends and to make a scrap picnic. Just throw, I'd say, a lot of food into a hamper, not a big deal. Give my love to Mummy and to yourself a big kiss and thanks. I hear them at the piano downstairs. So, as she's writing this letter, she hears the piano. There is to be a concert in the Greenville Arms on Saturday, which is probably a hotel, I would say. There is a young student comes here some evenings named Bannon. His cousins are big swells, are rich. He sings Byron's song about those seaside girls. And in brackets she says, I was on the pop of writing Blazes Byron. This is, the exactness of Joyce's writing here, Our big swells, he sings Byron's song about seaside girls. So this Blazes Byron is also a singer, I would say. And he sings a song about seaside girls. And there's a young student comes here some evening named Bannon. His cousins are big swells. He sings Byron. So this student, Bannon, sings the same song as Blazes Byron about seaside girls. Tell Blazes Byron, silly Millie sends my best respects. So Blazes Byron, I would say, sings in the same concerts as Molly Bloom, her mother. And she obviously knows him and so on and so forth. And he's also a singer. I like a singer as well in these, concerts and so on. Tell him silly Millie sends my best respects. Must now close with fondest love, your fond daughter Millie. P.S. Excuse bad writing. Am in a hurry. Bye bye. Just want to make a comment on that now. As I said before, it took Joyce 7 years to write Ulysses, and you can see why it took Joyce 7 years. And I cannot believe that he wrote such a brilliant book in 7 years. I can't believe he wrote it in such a short time. When you have this exactness, like this letter here, it's just flawless. This is exactly the way this girl of that age would write this letter, and it's just amazing how it only took Joyce 7 years to write this fantastic book. So moving on, and there's no doubt Joyce deserves. Joyce deserves. He deserves people to spend time reading his work. Because there's so much in it. Next line. 15 yesterday. 15 yesterday. Curious 15th of the month too. Her first birthday away from home, separation. Remember the summer morning she was born, running to knock up Mrs. Thornton in Zilly Street. Jolly old woman. Just at the end of the page now, I just want to go over them lines. 15 yesterday. So Millie Bloom was 15 yesterday. She's 15 years of age. So that's the letter. A 15-year-old girl, 15 yesterday, so this is the centre of the presents, the tam and the creams and so on. 15 yesterday, so she's obviously working, Millie Bloom, like in a summer, holiday job, holiday job, there for the summer in this photo booth place, possibly with relations or friends or whatever. 15 yesterday, curious. So Leopold Bloom is saying curious. It's also the 15th of the month, 15th of the month too. And then he thinks her first birthday, her first birthday away from home. So this is the first birthday she's away from home. Separation. Remember the summer mornings. Remember the summer morning she was born. So now he remembers the summer morning she was born. Running to knock up Mrs. Thornton in Dinsmore Street. So when Molly Bloom was about to, give birth, he ran to Mrs. Thornton in Dinsmore Street. Jolly old woman. Lots of babies she must have helped into the world. She knew from the first poor little Ruby wouldn't live. Well, God is good, sir. She knew at once. He would be 11 now if he had lived. His vacant face stared, pitying at the postscript. Excuse bad writing. Hurry. Piano downstairs. Coming out of her shell. Row with her in the XL cafe about the bracelet. Wouldn't eat her cakes or speak or look. Sauce box. He sopped other dies of bread in the gravy and ate piece after piece of kidney. 12 and 6 a week, not much. Still, she might do worse. Music hall stage, young student. He drank a draught of cooler tea to wash down his meal. Then he read the letter again, twice. Just going over that again. Jolly old woman, lots of babies she must have helped. This is the midwife person into the world. She knew from the start. Okay, this is very important. She knew from the first poor little Ruby wouldn't live. So they obviously had a son called Rudy who died at birth, I would say. She knew from the first, this midwife lady. She knew from the first poor little Rudy wouldn't live. Well, God is good, sir. So she must have said, God is good, sir, meaning it's all in God's plan, maybe. She knew at once. Rudy wasn't going to survive. He would be 11 now if he had lived. So this Rudy would have been 11 years of age if he had lived. His vacant face stared, pitying at the postscript. So just imagine his depressed face, staring at the postscript. The letter. Excuse bad writing. So he's reading the letter again, kind of in his mind. Excuse bad writing. Hurry. He's reading. Yes, here we are. He's reading bits and pieces of the letter again. And we came across this twice before. Excuse bad writing. Hurry. Piano downstairs. And then he's thinking, coming out of her shell. Now his daughter is coming out of her shell. Row with her in XL cafe about the bracelet. Now he's thinking back when she was younger. I had a row with her in the XL cafe about a bracelet. Wouldn't eat her cakes or speak or look. She must have been very young. She wouldn't eat her cakes or speak or look. Sauce box. He calls her a sauce box. She was a young kid. That's the way Joyce is describing it there is brilliant. Wouldn't eat her cakes or speak or look. You can just visualize this young girl with her hands folded, pouting, more or less. Wouldn't eat her cakes or speak or look. Sauce box. He sopped other dies of bread in the gravy. Joyce has come back to write her again here. He sopped other dies of bread in the gravy and ate piece after piece of kidney. 12 and 6 a week. So she gets paid in this summer job 12 and 6 a week, which is whatever. 12 and 6. That's the old money. We'll say it's £2 something and 6 pence a week. 12 and 6 a week, not much. It's not much. She doesn't get much, he's thinking. Still, she might do worse. She might do worse. Music hall stage. Music hall stage, young student. So this is the young student, I think, from the letter he's thinking about. Music hall stage. He drank a draught of cooler tea to wash down his meat. So now he's also taking a drink of tea. Then he read the letter again, twice. So he read the letter twice. Next line. Oh well, she knows how to mind herself. But if not, no, nothing has happened. Of course it might. Wait, in any case, till it does. A wild piece of goods, her slim legs running up the staircase. Destiny, ripening now, vain, very. He smiled with troubled affection at the kitchen window. Day I caught her in the street pinching her cheeks to make them red. Anemic a little, was giving milk too long. On the Erin's King that day around the kish, damned old tub pitching about, not a bit funky, her pale blue scarf loose in the wind with her hair, all dimpled cheeks and curls. Your head is simply swirls. Come back over that there again now. Okay. The vacant stare stared, pitying at excuse bad writing. Yeah, I think we got that. Wouldn't eat her cakes or speak or look. Sauce box. He sopped other dies of bread in the gravy and ate piece after piece of kidney. 12 and 6 weeks, not much. Still, she might do worse. Music, youngster, okay. He drank a draught of cooler tea to wash down his meat. Then he read the letter twice. She knows how to mind herself. That's what he's thinking. But if not, no, nothing has happened. Now he's starting to think about. She's 15 years of age, and he's, is she able to mind herself? She's not going to get, pregnant. Probably he could be thinking. But if not, no, nothing has happened. And then he thinks, of course it might. Wait, in any case, still it does. A wild piece. She's a wild piece of goods. She's a wild piece of goods. Her slim legs running up the staircase. So he's thinking, yeah, she's becoming a very beautiful woman, and there's going to be, lots of fellas, wanting to go out her and so on. Destiny, yes, that's her destiny. Ripening now. She's ripening as a woman now. Vain, yeah, she's very vain. He smiled with troubled affection at the kitchen. Window. So now he's looking at the kitchen window. He probably sees a reflection, I would say. And then he thinks, day I caught her in the street, pinching her cheeks to make them red. So when she was younger, she was in the streets, and she probably didn't want to go to school. So she probably pinched her cheeks to make them red, to make out she was sick, and just stay at home, I would say. Day I caught her in the street, pinching her cheeks to make them red. Anemic a little. Was given milk too long. So he's thinking she was given milk too long. She was, more or less saying she was kind of spoiled too much, I would think there. And then he thinks, on the Erin's King that day around the Kish. On the Erin's King, I would say on the Erin's King is the ship or a boat. So he's thinking back, on the Erin's King that day, which is a boat, round the Kish, damned old tub pitching about. So he's thinking back, there were two of them were on a boat, damned old tub pitching about, not a bit funky, not a bit cool, I would say there. Her pale blue scarf loose in the wind with her hair. So he's just visualising her when she was younger and they were on this ship and it was pitching about. And her pale blue scarf loose in the wind with her hair. So he's thinking back then. That's very, very visual from Joyce again. All dimpled cheeks and curls, your head is simply swirls. Next line. Seaside girls, torn envelope, hen stuck in his trousers pockets. Jervy off for the day singing, friend of the family, swirls, he said. Pier with lamps, summer morning band. Those girls, those lovely seaside girls. Let's get that quickly now. Seaside girls. So he's thinking about the letter again. Torn envelope. Now he's thinking about the torn envelope he's seen under Molly, his wife's bed. Hand stuck in his trousers pocket. Not sure about that, or maybe that's just him having his hands stuck in his trouser pockets. Jervy off for the day singing. Jervy, that's someone who drives like horse buggies or something. He could be referring to him. Jervy off there singing, friend of the family, swirls, he says, pier with lamps, summer evening band. There were thoughts, in the past, basically. Could be thinking about an event where there was a person that drives, these horse buggies. He was a friend of the family, possibly. Swirls, he says. Yes, and he could have said this swirl. He could be singing this song. Swirls, he said. Yes, pier with lamps, summer evening band. Probably thinking back to some event that happened in the summer, in the summer, on down by the sea or something. Those girls, they're lovely seaside girls. Millie too, which is a daughter, young kisses, the first. He's thinking back in the past when she was probably a kid kissing him. Fair away now past, Miss Marion. Fair away now past, Mrs. Marion. Now he's thinking about the letter that to Molly Bloom, Marion Bloom. He's thinking about the letter. He's visualising in his mind. What wrote outside the letter, Miss Marion Bloom, the bold hand, so on. Reading, lying back now. He's thinking she's probably reading that letter, lying back now, counting the strands of her hair. She's counting the strands of her hair. That's the great writing, Joyce. Counting the strands of her hair. She's feeling her hair with her fingers, basically, and he's saying she's counting the strands of her hair. Smiling, braiding. Next line. A soft qualm regret flowed down his black bone, increasing. Will happen, yes. Prevent, useless, can't move. Girl's sweet, light lips. Will happen too. He felt the flowing qualm spread over him. Useless to move now. Lips kissed, full gluey woman's lips. Better where she is down there, away, occupy her. Wanted a dog to pass the time. Might take a trip down there, August bank holiday. Only 2 and 6 return. 6 days off, however. Might work a press pass or through Mackay. Now he's thinking back. Soft qualm regret. So he's starting to feel a bit sad here. Flow down his backbone, increasing. He's like regretting that he can't have all these good times. Probably, I'd say. A soft qualm regret. Flow down his backbone, increasing. Will happen, yes. So now he's thinking, will happen, yes. Yes, she is going to leave the nest, leave home, get married. Will happen, yes. Prevent, no, I can't prevent that. Useless, can't move. He just can't move. He can't bear the thought of it, I would say. And then he thinks, girls' sweet, light lips. He's just thinking about women in general, the beauty of women, basically. Girls' sweet, light lips will happen too. Yes, it will happen to her. She will, she will be taken, she'll get married and so on. He felt the flowing qualm spread over him. He's feeling sad. Useless to move now. I can't move. He's kind of so sad and depressed. Lips kissing. Now he's thinking about kissing a woman in general. Lips kissing. Full gluey women's lips. He's thinking about kissing a woman, and the beauty of that, and all, so on and so forth. Better where she is down there, away. Yeah, he's thinking now. It's better. She's better off down there, away. Occupy her. She wanted a dog to pass the time. Yeah, at one time she wanted a dog to pass the time. And then he thinks, might take a trip down there. I might take a trip down there to Mullingar. Maybe in August bank holiday weekend. Only 2 and 6 return. I could get the train down there for that. 6 weeks off, however. So he's 6 weeks off, holidays off. Might work a press pass. So he obviously works with his paper selling advertisements. So he might work a press pass. Or through Mackay, who's probably some person in the paper. Next line. The cat, having cleaned all her fur, returned to the meat-stained paper. Nosed at it and stalked to the door. She looked back at him, meowing. Wants to go out. Wait before a door. Sometime they will open. Let her wait. Has the fidgets. Electric. Thunder in the air. Was washing at her ear with her back to the fire too. Reading that again. The cat, having cleaned all his fur. So this cat is after licking all his fur, cleaned all his fur, returned to the meat-stained paper. So he returned to the meat-stained paper, nosed at it and stalked to the door. She looked back at him, at Leopold Bloom, meowing. And Leopold Bloom thinks wants to go out. She wants to go outside. Wait before a door. Sometimes they will open. So he's thinking, yeah, cats, they wait before a door sometimes. They wait before a door and wait for somebody to open it. Wait before a door. Sometimes it will open. Let her wait. So he's saying, let the cat wait. Has the fidgets. Electric. Thunder in the air. Has the fidgets. Well, what the fidgets means here in Ireland, it means has the fidgets. It's like she's like kind of a bit nervous, like she has the fidgets. She like little shakes, kind of fidgeting, like somebody was fidgeting about the place. She has the fidgets. She's kind of not irritated. That's the wrong way to describe it. Electric, thunder in the air. It's she has the fidgets. She's apprehensive, kind of. She wants to go somewhere. Has the fidgets. Electric, thunder in the air. Was washing at her ear with her back to the fire too. So the cat was probably at the fire and she was washing at her ear. That's what he's probably thinking there. He felt heavy, full, then a gentle loosening of his bowels. He stood up, undoing the waistband of his trousers. The cat meowed to him. Meow, he said in answer. Wait till I'm ready. Heaviness, hot day coming, too much trouble to fag up the stairs to the landing. A paper, he likes to read a stool. Hope no wape comes knocking. Hope no wape comes knocking just as I am. Reading that again. He felt heavy. So he felt heavy, full. Then a gentle loosening of his bowels. He stood up, undoing the waistband of his trousers. The cat meowed to him, and now this is what he says. The cat, meow, he said in answer. Wait till I'm ready, and I'll open the door. Heaviness, hot day coming. Heaviness, hot day coming. Too much trouble to fag up the stairs to the landing. Now he's thinking, it's heaviness, it's going to be a hot day. And then he's thinking, it's too much trouble to go up to the stairs to the landing, to the toilet probably. And then he thinks, a paper. He liked to read his stool, so he's going to the bathroom and he's looking for a paper to read while he's doing his business. A paper. He liked to read his stool. Hope no ape comes knocking just as I'm. Hope no ape. That's a Irish expression here. Hope no ape comes calling now. Hope no ape. It basically means hope nobody comes calling right now, just as he's going to do his business. A paper. He liked to read a stool. Hope no ape comes calling just as I'm. And I'm going to leave it there now, because we got through 6.5 pages, and until next time, as they say, the third section of the third installment, I'm going to leave it there now for the moment.